I bet that sounds like, yeah, it seems like not the kind of thing that actors do very typically is froth things.
Oat milk.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you'd be right. And yeah, Rachel was like so sad at the end of the day because she was like, we just wasted so much oat milk. Hi, my name is Bebe Wood. I play Lake on Love Victor, and you're listening to Young Entertainment Magazine.
By the way, I love your outfit. Super, super cute. I love it.
Thank you. I'm going to visit a friend later, so I got a little dressed up.
Oh, nice. Love it. I love a denim moment.
I also love a denim. Here, I'll show you. There is matching
I love it.
pants.
I love it. Patchwork is my favorite.
Me too, and it's vintage, so recycling.
Awesome. Cool. Awesome. Thanks so much. So we're all big fans of Love Victor at Young Entertainment Magazine. We're all loving it. But it's kind of a bittersweet note because we all just heard that the third season is going to be the final season of Love Victor. So yes, we're all a little sad to say goodbye to these characters, but we're excited to see how the show ends. Were you guys aware of the announcement that was coming, that it was going to be the final season? How much had you filmed of the show when you found out?
Yeah, so I think we always kind of had an idea that the third season was going to be our last season. I think purely from the standpoint that, in this sort of new world of television consumption that is streaming, a lot of times shows that are on streaming services don't go beyond 3 seasons. So I think like all of us, as people who are familiar with that, had some sort of inkling that was probably going to be the case. And, maybe a couple weeks into filming season 3, we were told officially, and we had a very sweet Zoom meeting where everyone kind of just like hopped on and we talked about it, and all kind of like went around and shared our favorite memories. So it's very bittersweet for us too, but I'm glad that we had that, knowledge as we were shooting, because it really allowed us, I think, to just like enjoy the process and enjoy creating together. 3 years is a long time, and we've all gotten to know each other really well and, created this little Love Victor family. So I think it was really helpful to make the third season knowing that it would be our final, just so we could really enjoy it. And hopefully that will, come through in the finished product. I know it will, because when you're making things with love, it always shows. But I am happy that we had that, because it gave us some closure.
Yeah, I think that's how the fans are gonna feel too. Like they can go through this season knowing that, and they're prepared for the closure too. So since you mentioned that you guys got to relive some memorable moments and really get to reflect on the experience, what would you say is one of the most memorable moments of the show? Do you have a favorite episode that stands out?
That's hard. When it comes to the show, I'll hopefully, while saying my initial thought, think of something to answer regarding the show specifically. I think, Love Victor for me represents basically, I don't want to say a coming of age, but I did a lot of growing up during Love Victor personally, just because, we started filming in 2019, and the world that we knew at, that time, basically came to an end by the ending of our shooting season 1. We finished shooting season 1 in December of 2019. And, January of 2020 was, I think, a big month for everyone across the globe. And so, you know, I think COVID has probably really shaped me as a person. And I alongside that was also doing Love Victor. So I've done a lot of growing up during Love Victor that, you know, I will always have a soft spot for this show because of that. And we've all kind of grown up together, even though we're, you know, all in our 20s, I think. You know, I mean, that's kind of the time in which you figure a lot of stuff out. And so we were able to do that together. When it comes to favorite moments of the show specifically, I don't know. I have like a lot of fond memories from like Brass Town stuff. I remember when we were shooting like the Battle of the Bands, which I think was in the first season, like the whole Call Me Maybe stuff. Whenever we have overnight shoots, it's just a blast and also miserable at the same time because, you know, we get to work at, you know, 4 p.m. in the afternoon and we don't get home until, you know, 5 or 6 in the morning or whatever. And so that's always really fun just because we all act like absolute ridiculous, you know, people. And it's always fun to see that side of your friends. So there's lots of fun memories.
That's cool. It's really interesting how you mentioned how you've grown just since beginning this character, but you've been in the industry for a while. So you've kind of grown up on TV. People have kind of seen you grow through your career. So I'm always curious, what is that experience like? How do you balance the different aspects of your life? And I'm sure it definitely makes the last couple years seem like so much change, you know, so soon and everything.
Yeah, you know, it's hard to say because I don't know anything else. So to me, it feels quite normal. But, you know, I have been acting since I was 10 and, you know, I'm about to turn 21. So that's a long time to be, I think, like a like working professional, which is kind of strange to think about. Like I was working like 50 hours a week at the age of 10. Because there's all of these laws that I won't get into because they're so incredibly boring. But like, you know, children or people under the age of yada, yada, yada can only work this many hours a week. And then, you know, when you turn 18 or get emancipated, when you're 16, whatever, you can work more hours. But when you're 10 years old, you can work 10 hours a day as long as 1 to 3 hours of those 10 hours are dedicated to school. So I was working a lot for a 10-year-old, but it felt normal. It just felt like what I was supposed to do. I loved it so much. I feel very lucky to say that I loved it and it's what I wanted to do. And my parents very much did not want me to be an actor that young. They were like, you know, supportive, like be an actor, but don't do it when you're 10 years old. But I somehow convinced them. So it's strange. It is really strange, but it's all I know. So it feels really normal. And I think it just feels like what growing up feels like, just in a slightly different setting, perhaps. But yeah, I mean, I think like, you know, I was 18 when we started Love Victor. And I thought I had a lot figured out, and I think I did. But yeah, I think nothing prepares you for living through a pandemic, and so being exposed to I don't know, just like tragedy to that level was very shocking. But I think you know, I had basically like 7 months of time to myself. I was just like living with my parents in the countryside, and so I spent a lot of time by myself, and I literally did not see anyone outside my mom and dad for 7 months. So after the lockdown, going back to Love Victor season 2 was an entirely different experience, and I think everyone else had that same feeling because, you know, we'd all kind of just experienced an unprecedented thing.
Yeah, I think a lot of people in 2019 thought they had a lot of things figured out, and then 2020 came and everything just kind of went out the window.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So, it's fascinating, but I think that's also, partly behind the reason all of us as a cast are so close.
And I think that definitely shows a lot on screen, and it also kind of shows through the relationships of your characters. And one thing that I was curious about specifically with your character is not just the relationship she has with her friends, but the relationship she has with her mom, because that's I think that has a lot to do with who she is and how she was brought up. And your mom is played by Leslie Grossman. So what was your experience like working with her? And I don't know how many spoilers you can give away, but is the relationship between Lake and her mom going to be something that we see a lot of throughout season 3?
Yeah, Leslie is definitely a part of season 3, and we got to do some amazing scenes together this season, and I'm so thrilled that we were able to work together, because I look up to her so much, and I think she is just a brilliant person and a brilliant actor. It was really fun to work with her again, because the first show I ever did was called The New Normal, and it was a Ryan Murphy show. We had one season. It was on NBC, and Leslie Grossman was on that show, and I'd known her, and I'd been aware of her, and we were chummy, but I was a child, and then also we didn't have a lot of stuff together, so it was really fun to kind of work with her again, being an adult, and having more to do together, not only in terms of like length, but I think all of the scenes that I have with Leslie, although they are comedic naturally, because she is so funny, a lot of the scenes that she and I have together are more weighty. And so that's really fun to explore with her, because she's just such a lovely, warm sort of person. She has such a lovely, positive energy.
That's awesome. So have you guys completed all of the episodes by now?
Yes. So we finished filming in February, like mid-February.
Okay. So knowing what you know now about how the series ends, since you mentioned that we're going to be seeing more of Lake and her mom, will there be closure in that relationship? Will there be some progression? Is there anything you could tell us about what fans can expect between the two of them this season?
I think all around, like full picture, every single character, every single relationship between the characters, I think fans will be happy with. I think because, like I said earlier, we all knew this was going to be the final season. Lots of thought, I think, was put into closing out the story and making sure that no loose ends were left, because I've been so shocked and touched by our fan base, which they're just so sweet and supportive and generous, and it's lovely to see, because I feel that way about my favorite shows. And sometimes when like my favorite shows are not closed off in a way, it's like really frustrating. And so I think the writers put a lot of love and care into thinking about our fans and giving them not only closure, but just like, I don't know, something to hold on to, since it's been like 3 years and it's kind of been quite a journey, I think all of these characters have had. So hopefully, yes, I think the fans will be happy, and I don't know, hopefully I love it, so I hope everyone else does.
That's good. As long as I think it says a lot if the actors love it too, because you guys
Yeah.
have been living in these characters for such a long time, then I think we're all excited. So I think it's going to be really exciting to see. And we're all wondering what's going to happen. I think we're all going to be really excited to see how it plays out.
Me too. I'm just counting down the days until June 15th because I just want to be able to talk about it freely.
Yeah, lots of secrets to keep too.
There's a lot of secrets to keep.
Well, one thing that our fans are very curious about is Lake's, I guess we could say relationship with, she seems like she had a connection with Benji's friend Lucy towards the end of the second season. And we talked to one of the writers and executive producers on the show, Marcus, and he kind of he was kind of teasing that maybe there's something there for us to expect. Is that something that we're going to be seeing throughout season 3? Is that something that will become one of Lake's storylines?
Yeah, I love Marcos, by the way. Marcos is like one of my best friends, to be honest. He's incredible. So I'm sure whatever he said is true. And yeah, I mean, I think like, here's the thing. Felix and Lake, you know, I mean, they closed out season 2 in the way they did, which, you know, made a lot of people sad and whatever. And it's tricky because they're, the reason that they, broke up is because they had these like fundamental differences that like, you know, Lake thought she did something right and Felix thought he did something right. And there's not, you know, any way to kind of solve that. I think Lake has a lot that she wants to explore and a lot that she wants to figure out about herself. And so I think season 3 for Lake is really about, you know, exploration and kind of figuring out who she is outside of her relationship with Felix, which, you know, is really, really fun and was really fun to do. And so there's lots of elements I think fans will resonate with and enjoy seeing with Lake, because it really is about her kind of like coming into her own a little bit, like Lake's storyline.
Very cool. And we love Marcos too. We got to talk to him and he's like, he just seems super cool and we love hearing all the stuff that he has to say. So how did you guys, you said that you guys are pretty close now. Did that happen during the taping of the show? Do you give him some input on your character? Do you guys kind of figure that stuff out together? What is your relationship like?
Yeah, I think we both kind of have a love of like pop culture and I don't know, just like fabulous things of the past and present. And like we both bonded over, you know, our love of, we just have a lot in common. So we became close on the show. And yeah, I mean, I feel very blessed that I feel comfortable and like heard with him. So I can always be like, hey, this is kind of what I was thinking for Lake, or maybe we could explore some of this. I know like for this season, we kind of talked a little bit about like, I expressed from the very beginning that I wanted to learn more about what Lake likes and what she wants from life rather than just, you know, love. And so I think, you know, he took that in and very much like talked about that with our writers and our producers, and we get to see some of that in season 3. So you know, he is very receptive, and we both just kind of ping pong ideas off of each other all the time, whether they make it in the show or not. You know, we're always just kind of like brainstorming together.
Well, one of the things that we love about Lake is she's got such quick one-liners. And does Marcus help you come up with those one-liners? Do you kind of maybe improvise them. I just feel like Lake has so many great lines, and it's such a fun thing for the fans to watch and to get to know her character. So I'm always curious, are those improvised? Does Marcos write those out? Where does that kind of fiery spirit come from?
Yeah, I think, all of those really brilliant one-liners definitely are a product of the writer's room. I wish I was that quick. But yeah, I think I'm not sure if it's all Marcos, or we have a room full of amazing writers who write these scripts. But I know that Marcos sees a lot of himself in Lake and resonates with her a lot. I think I've heard him say in the past, like the character that he feels closest to is Lake. And so I do know that a lot of those quippy one-liners come from Marcos. And I feel very lucky to, have worked with him and be friends with him, because he is very, very funny and brilliant.
Yeah, we're all big fans of him, and he just seems like super awesome to work with. Do you have a favorite Lake one-liner or Lake moment or?
Yeah, I do. It's definitely the whole ditch these gays like a corporation after Pride Month situation from I think season 2. So I love that line, and when I read that I was like, ooh, facts.
Yeah, Lake's pretty. That's one of our favorite things about the show. Is just some of the dialogue is super funny and so quick, and it's awesome.
Yeah, there's also a moment in season 3. It's such a small moment, and it's not even necessarily a one-liner, but Bella, who plays Pilar on the show, has a moment of just pure comedic genius, and I wish I was, at the liberty to say, but it's so funny, and I'm so excited for you guys to see her in this season. She shines. She's such a star.
Yes, we love watching her, and so excited. Anything we hear about season 3 and those that are going to be like shown off and having different aspects of their character shown off, it's super exciting.
Very exciting.
So I also want to go back to what you were talking about before with the relationship between Lake and Felix. I think a lot of fans have a lot of opinions on it. So what has the feedback been from the Felix and Lake shippers and non-shippers, and that relationship I think meant a lot to the both of them. So what do you think the impact of that has been, not just on the show, but on the viewers?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. I know a lot of people who, I mean, at least from what I've seen, I'm not like too in the scene of the Twitters or of the Instagrams. But the little that I have seen, I feel like you'll probably have a better idea than me. But I feel like, yeah, it seems very split. Like there's like half, who really love Felix and Lake, and then obviously in season 2 there were moments with like Pilar, like her crush on Felix. So I know that there's like a half and half, like people don't know. And then I know there's also like a section of fans that are really intrigued by #Lacey. So it's hard to tell, but I think Lake and Felix's relationship is so sweet, and I think they're each other's first loves, and so I think people really respond to that. Like it is just a very sweet sort of innocent first love situation, and I think they grew a lot together, and I think they learned a lot from each other. But ultimately, it is that like fundamental difference that tore them apart, And it was really fun to play as well, because in real life, I love Anthony Turpel. I think he is just not only a splendid, hilarious actor, he is just the same in real life, and he's just a darling to be around and to work with. But I know that when we were filming all of that stuff regarding Lake and Felix, we had very similar like feelings in real life, in terms of, he was like, no, Felix is doing the right thing. And I was like, Anthony, you're crazy. Like, Lake is doing the right thing. And so I think it was really fun to play that. We were able to like use that during those scenes, because I think it really is split. You know, people can see where Lake is coming from, and people can see where Felix is coming from. Ultimately, Felix felt betrayed because he asked someone to keep a secret and she didn't, right? And then on Lake's side of things, she's like, your safety is the most important thing. We are minors. That, I think that's something people forget, is like, I think a lot of these characters, you know, are fairly mature, even though they're like figuring things out. I think it's easy to forget that they're kids,
Yeah.
you know, and they don't have the resources that adults do. What else was Lake going to do except tell her mom? You know, she didn't ask her mom to go and do the things she ended up doing, but she needed to tell a trusted adult. And I do believe that that was the right thing to do. So it was really fun to kind of like hear all of the opinions on set too, because even on set, everyone has their own, you know, different opinion, and is kind of on their own little journey with the characters, which is really fun. So it'll be interesting to see how people feel about like season 3 and how, you know, these stories continue and such.
Yeah, and I think that's a great example of how great the writing is and how great the characters are, that there are so many levels to how they act and their different experiences. And I think that just shows how complex all of these situations are. The fact that it shows the fact that, you know, there are people that think this is the right thing to do, and the people that think that this is the right thing to do. If there's, you know, since there's so many different options and a lot of people support both of them, I think that just adds to how complex all of these characters and stories are.
Totally.
Let's see, because also, since, like you said, Lake has a lot of transformation to doing that isn't just about love, has to do with what she wants in life and finding herself and everything. But do you have a preference of who you want Lake to end up with or not end up with? Do you have an opinion on the Lake Felix shippers or the Lake and Lucy shippers?
Yeah, I think it's hard, because I can definitely see where everyone's coming from. I think for me, it's really hard to say, because I, you know, it's my job to empathize with Lake and to feel as much like her as I possibly can. And so I think Lake and I a lot of times are very much on the same boat, and we agree on a lot of things. Just because, you know, I have to a certain degree. And so, yeah, I can't say too much, because, you know, I want season 3 to be a surprise. But something we don't delve into in season 3 is, you know, what Lake is going to be when she grows up. And Marcos and I have talked about, this is just a fun fact for the sake of fun facts, but I really think that Lake would end up being the White House press secretary.
Wow.
I feel like that is her journey. For beyond
a very specific journey too. That it's
a very specific journey.
Center,
but
yeah.
This is a beyond season 3 journey. You know, this is not discussed whatsoever in season 3. But I think she would end up doing something like that, you know?
Maybe in like 10 or 15 years, they'll have like a Love Victor reunion, and we'll see where all these characters ended up, and Lake will be the press secretary.
Boom. There we go. Let's make it happen.
Yeah, let's make it happen. Hulu, 10 years from now, let's write a date down. Let's make it happen.
Yeah, let's get a contract going. Like, this is something that must happen.
It's also interesting what you were saying about, you know, how you have to live in this character so much and that's your job, and to know how she acts and how she thinks and everything. So I'm curious, how much would you say that you relate to Lake, and how much of Lake has how much of you has gone into Lake's character, and how much do you think Lake's character has it influenced your personality at all?
Yeah, that's a really interesting question. It's hard because I think that Lake and I are really different. I think like we are ruled by very different things, you know. I mean, Lake is very much ruled by, you know, people's opinions and people's like thoughts of her. And I'm not that way. I think I'm an only child and so much in my own little like bubble. I've never really, you know, cared. I feel very lucky. I've never really cared about like, I don't know what people have to say. I'm like, all right, well, say what you want, I guess. But Lake is obviously not like that. And so I think like we're ruled by very different things, but I relate to and appreciate Lake's boldness and her I think appreciation for, you know, pop culture and fabulous things of the past and present. Like I said, you know, Marcos and I shared that in we have that in common, and I'm sure that's part of the reason he also connects with Lake.
You have a great fashion sense, obviously.
Oh, thank you. Yes, Marcos is very stylish, and so is Lake. And so yeah, I mean, I think like we have certain things in common for sure. But it was really fun to play her because I'd never played a character like her before. She was like my first sort of, I don't know, quote unquote popular girl, you know, who was kind of like in with the crowd, who cared about, you know, other people's opinions so she could keep, you know, her like social status. And this is very much like season 1 Lake. I think she's, you know, evolved from that point, but you know, this is how we met her. She was very much in that scene and very much cared, and I've never been that way, and so it was a fun challenge. And it was also just a fun thing to tackle because I'd never done it before. So yeah, I think we're very like fundamentally, well, I think we're ruled by different things. I think, you know, she's like a loyal friend and very much believes in doing what is right, and like, you know, values her friendship with Mia and like all of these things that I really love. And, you know, I aspire to be as good of a friend as Lake. I think you know, she's really shown through. She's had her moments of like, I think she's a very loyal, good friend. And you know, clearly she believes in, you know, trying to do the right thing. I try to do that as well. So, you know, we have our things in common, but she is different than me for sure. So, and that's always fun. I think it's I like that. I like playing characters that are different from yourself, because it just, you know, it's like playing dress up, but on a deeper level almost, you know, emotional dress up.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's a great way to, and it shows on screen too, I think, when the actor is having fun playing a character that's a little different from them. So I definitely think that that's super cool. And also, since you mentioned Lake's friendship with Mia, are we going to be seeing more of that this season? Are there going to be some scenes between them that fans can look forward to?
Yeah, I think so. I think we have some scenes together. I don't know why, like to be honest, season 3 was such a blur because I think we were all just like we have to make this the best we can, you know, and like but
it's probably been a while since you guys filmed the beginning of the season, right? So
right, we started filming back at like like November 1st. We started filming, so it's been a second. And then also this season we were block shooting. So we would do, like, we started with episode 3. We like shot episode 3 first instead of episode 1, and like just to, you know, make it all make sense. But yes, I know that we have some scenes together. We filmed last month a scene together that involved the frothing of lots and lots of oat milk, which was fun and strangely challenging.
I bet. That sounds like, yeah, it seems like not the kind of thing that actors do very typically, is froth things.
Oat milk.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd be right. And yeah, Rachel was like so sad at the end of the day because she was like, we just wasted so much oat milk, which is so true.
And after a whole day of oat milk, you're kind of either like, I feel like a lot of people would be like, no, a whole day of oat milk, no more, never again, that kind of thing.
Never again. Yeah, luckily I don't think we like had to consume lots of oat milk, but yeah, and it's such a small moment. It's like not even a big part of the scene that we were filming, but for some reason it just became a big part of the scene for us personally. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's a great preview for season 3. Frothing of oat milk and
frothing of oat milk.
That's exactly. A nice teaser when people ask what's coming ahead for season 3. Just oat milk froth. And period. See how that plays into the season.
Period. Yeah, and then we're gonna get to that scene and nobody's even gonna notice because it's like literally not important at all.
Well, now we're all gonna be on the lookout for it for sure. That's right. What I'm most looking forward to now. Season 3.
Reach back out once you notice the oat milk froth.
Yes, we should have all of our readers like take notes of it and be like, did you spot the oat milk? Did you spot the oat milk? And it's gonna be a thing now. We'll get a hashtag going.
I'm all for this.
We're gonna make it a huge moment of season 3.
Please do.
We are totally gonna be working on that. That's gonna be our new thing.
Well, I'm glad you started something here. Look at us.
Yeah, exactly. Well, season 3 is gonna go out with a bang because we're gonna make it a big oat milk situation and make sure that everyone's on it for sure.
I love this. Also, completely. Well, I mean, it's sort of Love Victor related, but sometimes what I do with my buddies for fun is sit down. I play some instruments. I play guitar, piano, string instruments, and I had Bella and Anthony Cave on over whilst we were shooting season 2, and I like to just like start playing like random chords, just improvise like a little ditty and have my friends like improvise lyrics over the music.
That's so fun.
And it's just like fun, like it's just so silly, and it's just a way to like loosen up, and you know, it's just great. And the funniest things end up happening, and we record it all, and we have a song about oat milk, the 3 of us.
That's amazing. Now after the season's over, you have to release it.
We'll have to release
number 1 on iTunes.
Yeah, the like iPhone recording of us. I think the melody is like oat milk, oat milk, oat milk, oat milk, and we're like,
I could hear that trending on TikTok. I think that would be a huge hit.
Listen, this is another thing I'll have to try and make happen.
Yes. Let's make it happen. Well, it's interesting how you mentioned that you play a bunch of instruments, because we've been following your music career as well. So how is that something else that you're going to be focusing on now that the show is over? On what's to come for Bebe?
That's a great question. I love music, and music has always been something I've done even before acting. I started playing piano when I was like 4, and I've always had an interest in writing songs, and the 6 songs that I released on my EP I wrote when I was like 15, 16 years old, and so that was kind of a long time ago, I think, in terms of Well, I mean, in terms of life, but also in songwriting, quote unquote, years. That's a long time in songwriting years, because, you know, I mean, I've written a lot of new material that I am looking forward to hopefully releasing and recording. And I haven't done any of that yet, because recording takes a lot of, you know, time and money. But, you know, I do hope to release more music sooner rather than later. And I would love to focus on music. I would love to like play some shows and you know, kind of get out there in terms of the live scene, because I haven't really done that yet. I've only played one show, and that was in 2019 before COVID happened, in December of 2019. So I really went out with a bang in terms of, you know, my social life concluded on a really high note. But yeah, I mean, I would love to do that, and I'm really excited about the new songs that I'm writing, and I think, you know, hopefully people will resonate with them. And I'm writing a little bit more in Spanish now, which has been like a really nice challenge, I think, both quite literally and emotionally. It's been kind of interesting to tackle that and kind of embrace that side of myself more. And so yeah, hopefully I will have new songs on Spotify and Apple Music sooner rather than later. And I did a movie when we wrapped Love Victor in February. Like 2 days after we wrapped, I started shooting this movie called Crushed that will come out. I don't know actually when it'll come out. I think within the next couple months. You know, just keeping on really. That's the plan.
Yeah. I think that's a great like bookend to end it on, because we're all really excited about Love Victor and what's to come from you and the rest of the cast. And now that we have, after Love Victor ends, we have your movie and your music to listen to. I think it's going to be a super exciting year to come, and we're all really looking forward to it.
Well, thank you so much.
Of course. Thank you for taking the time to speak with us and for giving us a little teaser on what's to come. And we can't wait to see
the oat milk.
Yes, absolutely. That's the main thing that's going through my mind right now is watch for the oat milk episode.
Yeah,
and oat milk
me too. Now I'm looking forward to seeing it. You know, I haven't even really thought about it since we shot it, but now it's like the thing that is making me most excited for
it's
season 3.
It's gonna be a big thing. It's gonna be the thing of season 3. I'm gonna predict it now.
Amazing. Amazing.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Have a good day.
You too. Oh, by the way, again, love that outfit.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thanks so much.
Thanks.